The inspiration for the Wisdom to Know the Difference really began when I was pregnant with my first child almost 13 years ago. I started thinking about the Serenity Prayer, which asks for serenity to accept the things we cannot change, courage to change the things we can change, and the wisdom to know the difference. I found when I was pregnant there were all these things out of my control. Am I going to break my water in the supermarket? And is my favorite doctor going to be on call when I go into labor? All those kinds of concerns about things that I couldn't control. But at the same time, there were all these things that were in my control, like eating a healthy diet and stopping having wine at dinner. And I found that focusing on the things that were in my control relieved some of the stress about the things that I couldn't manage according to my plan. That was really the seed of the book. I started thinking then that that last line, the wisdom to know the difference, would make a great book subject. But I knew I wasn't ready to write it then. So I just kind of over the years paid attention to different situations and thought about whether something exemplified wisdom or not. Especially when my mother was dying and my uncle, there were so many lessons in letting go. But it was several months after my mother's death that it just hit me one day, I'm ready to write the book, The Wisdom to Know the Difference. So I went to a drugstore, I got a notebook, and I just wrote 10 pages of ideas right on the spot. And that was really how it began. I was so inspired by the people who I interviewed for this book. Many of them had gone through terrible life experiences, the death of a child, bankruptcy, homelessness, paralysis, discrimination. One woman even fled from the Nazis. And what I found was that these people were not bitter or broken. They had learned from the difficult lessons life had given them. They made the best of their circumstances. And in many cases, they went on to help lots of other people in their lives. And I just found that so inspirational, really gave me a lot of hope as a writer. And I think it'll be inspirational for readers too. The wisdom to know the difference is really relevant today because we live in an age of high anxiety. More so than people from earlier eras, we have this sense that we should have everything under control. And so it just adds to our stress when we're facing an accident or a layoff or an illness. And the truth is that we can't control everything, and we need to let go sometimes, which is what every spiritual tradition teaches. In addition to that, though, there's all these insights coming out of modern psychology about how we can change the way we think, and we can train our minds in ways that make a real difference in how we live. So the book weaves together these messages about letting go from spiritual traditions with these empowering insights from modern psychology to give a balanced and contemporary approach. I'm Eileen Flanagan. I'm the author of The Wisdom to Know the Difference, When to Make a Change and When to Let Go, which is published by Tarcher Penguin.